brake side, similar. I had to shave, this is kind of crappy looking, but I had to shave this brake pedal. It does have a linkage there, and this allows me to use a separate shift lever that does not mount through the foot peg. It's just to make it easier to repair when damage is done. Take the bolt off, put on a new lever, foot peg, separate foot peg, break that off, put on a new foot peg. But that is the idea with the redesign here. Separate foot pegs from the levers, so it's not all single bolt. Easier to repair. Foot pegs obviously don't match because I'm using what I had in my box. Separate lever, and hopefully that will get the Benelli back out on the track. Here is the put back together foot peg setup that I have for the Benelli here. I am using a separate gear shifter that is mounted through a hole in the plate that was made. What is not optimal about this is the angle of the gear shift linkage, because it has to angle up. These ideally should be 90-degree angle to the gear shift linkage. This one is set back a little bit. This one is also a little offset, as you can see. Again, not a 90-degree angle. Not a 90-degree angle by a lot, but this is what it takes to have it functional. I'm gonna have to ride it and determine if this is usable or not. The last thing I have is the toe peg here. I made a replacement. This is loosely threaded on right now. I'm gonna replace this with a toe peg that I made myself. Let me grab that. Okay, so this is a temporary. This is the one that I made out of a hexagonal piece of aluminum stock. What I did here was thread this with a left-hand thread. So I'm going to use a bolt that has a left-hand thread pattern. That way, if this touches the ground, it will tend to, the end of the toe piece will tend to tighten instead of loosen. During the last race, I had this loosened 3 times every time it touched down and hit the ground. Okay, final change out here. I'm going to unscrew the toe piece. I have my left-hand bolt here, so I can finally finish out this work. So this is a reverse thread. I have the hex on the end of the pedal there, so I can put a wrench on it when I tighten the bolt. And then I'm going to put this on and Loctite it up. Okay, got my blue Loctite out. Going to prep the end of the bolt here, and then we'll get it stuck on the lever. There we go. Now, this is a reverse thread. So we're going to tighten it the opposite direction. And then get a wrench on the end. Wrench on the end, tighten that down, and let that Loctite cure overnight. Now we have a shifter that will tighten up if it gets dragged. Woohoo! Done.